step 41, we're going to be solving equations that involve more than one variable. So when we solve them, we have to specify which variable we're solving for. Sort of like this. You want to solve this equation for x, don't you just divide both sides by 3, or you could multiply by 1/3, either one. So x equals 5/3. Now if you see an equation like this though, d equals rt, that says that the distance equals rate times time. You want to solve this for t, treat it the same way. The coefficient of t is r, so you just divide both sides by r, and you get t equals d over r. It works the same way. This one says the area of a rectangle is the length times the width. If you want to solve that for L, the coefficient of L is W, so you just divide both sides by W, and there's your answer. L equals A over W. Let's see. Here's an equation you might use in chemistry class. P times V equals N times R times T. If you want to solve for V, the coefficient of V is P. So all you got to do is divide both sides by P, or multiply by 1 over P. So there's your answer. V equals N times R times T over P. Okay, let's look at this one. In this one, you got 4x over y equals 2/5. The coefficient of x, which we're trying to solve for, is actually 4 over y. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is y over 4. Multiply both sides by y over 4. Now on the left side, the y's and the 4's cancel, so you have x. On the right side, you get 2y over 20, which is the same as y over 10. On this one, let's see, the coefficient of alpha, you're trying to solve for alpha, is 3, so you can divide by 3. This might be easier to actually think of it as multiply by 1 over 3, you think? Let's multiply both sides by 1 over 3. Multiply this side by 1 over 3, this side by 1 over 3. On the right side you get alpha, on the left side you get 5 over 3b, or 3 beta. It works the same way when you're adding and subtracting. If you have the equation like this, x minus 5 equals 9, change the additive form. To solve for x you would add the opposite, so you'd add positive 5, x equals 14. On something like this, you would change the additive form, and to solve for p, you'd add positive c to both sides. The thing that might be different is you got to be careful. You can't always combine these things. What is r plus c? It's just going to be r plus c, and that's your final answer. Alright, let's keep on going. Let's look at this one. You want to solve this equation for y. You change the additive form. 3 plus negative y equals 7. So we would add the opposite of 3 to both sides. So you get down to here. Remember how to handle this? You're not done yet. To get y by itself, you multiply both sides by negative 1. You could also divide by negative 1. So your final answer is y equals negative 4. So when you see something like this, if you want to solve this equation for c, do it the same way. Change the additive form. Move the p over, so add negative p to both sides. Remember, you can't add those because r and negative p are not like terms. So this is where we're at. Here's where it gets a little tricky. To solve for c, you have to multiply both sides by negative 1, just as we did before. But watch this. You multiply both sides by negative 1. So on the left side you get c. On the right side, when you use the distributive law, you get negative r plus p. Okay? That's your answer. C equals negative r plus p. Alright, let's move on. On this one, you want to solve this for x. So let's get x by itself. Let's add the opposite first. So we get this. On the right side you have mx, on the left side you have y plus negative b. Now the last step is to get x by itself, you would divide by m, right? To get x by itself, divide this side by m. Now watch this, you divide the whole side by m. So that's how you'd write it. And you could write, the m's cancel, and you could write this as a subtraction, y minus b over m. Alright, this is a really important one. Be able to do this one right here. Solve this for y. We would first of all move the 2x, let's change it. Move the 2x over, so add negative 2x to both sides. So we get this. Now we're trying to solve for y, right? So what we would do is we would divide both sides by 6. So we get down to here, and then we would want to factor this and reduce it. Remember how you do that? You factor the top and bottom using the distributive law on the top, cancel your 2, and your final answer is y equals 2 minus x over 3. Okay, we're almost done. Let me do a couple more, then I'll give you some to try. This one comes up in Math 80. P equals 2W plus 2L. That's the perimeter of a rectangle. To solve for W, you would add negative 2L first to both sides. Now remember, you can't combine those. Those aren't like terms. You've got to leave it as P plus negative 2L. To get W by itself, you would divide both sides by 2. So divide the entire sides by 2, and that's your final answer. W on the right, and you could write this as P minus 2L. Okay, let's do this last one here. This one, if you wanted to solve this for Y, let's see, you would write it in additive form. Then you would use the distributive law. Now let's get the Y's on the left side, X's on the right. So let's move those X's over. Let's add negative 4X to both sides. So we get down to here. Now to get the Y's together, don't we have to add 2Y to both sides? So this is where we're at. We get negative 6Y equals negative 6X. To get Y by itself, you divide by negative 6 on both sides. So on the left side you have Y, on the right side you have X. That's right. Alrighty, well let's see. Let me give you a few minutes. Go ahead, hit the pause button here, and we'll go over this in just a minute. Okay, on the first one, we want to solve this for P. So the coefficient of P is R times T. So all we have to do is divide both sides by R times T. And that's your final answer. P equals I over RT. On this one, we want to solve for N. Well, the coefficient of N is big R times big T. So to solve for N, all you have to do is divide by big R times big T. And on the right side you have N, on the left side you just get PV over RT. Works the same way, doesn't it? This one, guess what the coefficient of M is? Coefficient of M is actually 2/3. So to solve for M, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which would be 3 over 2 on both sides. And on the right side you get M. On the left side, let's go ahead and factor that. Let's see, we can cancel a 2, I believe. Your answer should be M equals, we didn't do that, M equals 6x over y. That's what I get. Okay, on this one, if you want to solve this for y, what we're going to do is we're going to write it in additive form. Then let's go ahead and we'll get the y's on the right side, so let's add 10 to both sides. So on the right side you just have 4y, on the left side you have 2x plus 10. Now the important step here is to get y by itself, you divide both sides by 4. Can we reduce that? Yes, we can. On the left side, you can factor the top using the distributive law, and you can cancel a 2. So your final answer should be y equals x plus 5 over 2. Okay, let's do these last two. Let's see, to solve for a, let's write in additive form. Then let's add 5 to both sides. So we're down to here. Now to solve for a, the coefficient of a is b. So let's just divide both sides by b. So there's your final answer. A equals 12 over b. Alright, let's do this last one now. Let's see, write it in additive form. Now let's use the distributive law carefully. You get this. Now let's combine these y's on the right side. And just for the heck of it, let's get y's on the right side, okay? Let's get y on the right side. So to do that, we're going to have to move all the y's to the right side and x's to the left side. Let's add 2x to both sides. So you should get this, 4x plus negative 2y equals 4y. Let's add the positive 2y to both sides, and you get down to here. Now to finish this, we're going to divide both sides by 6. And we get y on this side, and let's factor this side. You can cancel a 2. Your final answer should have been y equals 2x over 3. Alright, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.